Welcome to Mastering Military Life. I'm here with Mariana Bridges, who is a military spouse. She is originally from Brazil and she moved to the United States and married into the military. Today we're talking about what it's like to be married to the United States military when you're a foreigner. So, Mariana, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for letting me speak today and share my experience with everybody.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, especially in these times. I feel like there's a lot of important conversations to be had right now, but this is a very important one, a very interesting one, because we see so many different types of military spouses out there. And I'm guessing you don't see a lot of spouses like yourself that are not from America. It's like a subset within the community. Do you have a lot of military spouse friends who are also not like US born?
I do have a few. I think when you're a foreigner, you kind of tend to look for other people that are foreigners as well because you have a connection besides being married with someone in the military. Because we know these struggles. Even if you weren't a foreigner, you already know it's stressful, it's challenging, being married to someone in the military, having your spouse gone a lot throughout the years, training, deployments, etc. But I think when you're a foreigner, you have other blockages, especially when you first come to the country. You're afraid of a lot of things. Everything is new, afraid of talking, making mistakes. And that for me, when I first got here, I was afraid of speaking. So I met other foreigners. And when you went to order something, let's say fast food, for example, you order by the number, not by the name of the item, to give you an idea. So I think it's similar when you married someone in the military. You're afraid of talking to native people because the culture is different, everything is different. But then you try to find someone that's also foreigner because you think you're going to have more things in common and a connection. However, after the years, I came to learn that's on our heads. So that's a challenge that you have to overcome, work our minds to say, that's in my head, because there are a lot of people there are nice. And I have to understand that not everybody's going to like me, no matter what, if I was from here or not, it doesn't matter. And stop trying to please everybody and just really find your people. Nowadays, I'm not going to say I don't do this anymore. Sometimes when it starts to get in my head, I'm afraid of talking to this person. I don't know what this person's going to think about me because of my accent, but it's just, I have to take a step back and say, no, it's in my head. I have to move forward. I have to talk to this person. And I came to learn that a lot of people in the military, they're more open-minded because we move so much, sometimes overseas, and you end up meeting a lot of foreigners that are military spouse as well, naturally.
I was gonna ask, how did you meet your husband?
Oh, yes. I met my husband online. Back in the day, you're going to be married for 11 years this year. And back in the day, that was kind of taboo. And I didn't actually tell my mom at the time I met him online, or otherwise she was going to kill me. I was like, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? What are you thinking? So we met online. I think nowadays it's more common. Like everybody does that.
Girl, there's no judgment here. We are a match.com. We met on match.com 12 years ago. So you are in good company here. Anyone who's wondering, should I get on an online dating platform? Yes, you should. Like, don't meet people at work. Don't meet people at the bar. Like, me and Brad, I think we're like 23 out of 24 matches. And the one that we weren't a match on, we both lied about, which was how much we work out.
Yeah, we went. I don't even know if it exists anymore. Plenty of fish.
Oh, yeah.
That's where
Plenty of fish. Yeah.
Yeah. At the time, I was super embarrassed. Embarrassed to say, "Oh, I met my husband plenty of fish." I had no expectations at the time, but after the first time we met, we've been together since the first time.
That's awesome. So then, where were you living when you guys met?
I was living in Northern Virginia, and he was working in Chicago.
Perfect. And then, have you guys ever done a PCS as a family?
Yes.
Okay, so where have you been stationed?
We've been mostly in Northern Virginia, and then we went overseas with pets. A challenge, wasn't fun, but totally worth it. We were in Bahrain for a couple of years, then back to Northern Virginia, then Virginia Beach.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's been quite the journey.
Yes.
If someone's a new military spouse, let's say that they, kind of just married in, and they are a foreigner, they have an accent, maybe are kind of in their head. I mean, what advice would you give them in terms of making friends in the military community?
You're going to feel anxious, but go out there and talk to people, no matter what. It's in your head. There are a lot of great people out there. Don't go thinking that you're going to be judged. People judge all the time, no matter where you're from. But there are many more nice people out there. And don't let that, hold you back, because military life as a spouse can be lonely. No matter where you're from. So don't isolate yourself because you're afraid. Go have a cup of coffee, invite someone to go with you, and start slowly. I know I talk to a lot of military spouses. I know a lot of them talk about the loneliness, about being anxious to actually go out there and meet with people. And I know a lot of people schedule things, meetings, and then the day before or the morning before, it's like, hey, they come up with something. Sometimes it's real, sometimes it's because they're so anxious. So don't let that hold you back.
Yeah. Would it make you feel any better if it felt like the things that you're saying about like the kind of mental limitations of making connections I feel when I was born in San Diego? Like I felt the same ways about connecting. It feels like I think people judge for a lot of different reasons, right? They judge based on your rank. They judge based on your clothes. They judge based on your kids. They judge like we're just kind of like a judgy society at this point. So whatever it is, the thing that we are self-conscious about, I think it's normal that we would project that other people would judge us and not want to be friends for it. But sometimes that's not really fair, right? It's like what we're telling ourselves about ourselves versus what other people are actually thinking or saying. Like unless I have like someone has done something or said something specifically about me, I feel like we have to give people the benefit of the doubt. That being said, we're also in a very interesting time in our country right now. I mean, given everything that we've seen in the last 12 months, has your feelings changed at all about putting yourself out there? Do you feel like you're being a little bit more guarded, or seeing other foreign military spouses be a little bit more guarded?
No, I tend to block the noise. Otherwise, I'm going to get nuts. So I try to keep the balance, stay informed, of course. But I think sometimes we make a lot of scenarios in our head and we can't stop living because what's going on out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So the military already has like its own culture, right? It has all of the abbreviations and obviously like the ranks and the duty stations and the commands and everything like that. How did you feel like a pressure to assimilate to military culture when you came in, and also like maintain obviously your cultural identity outside of that?
It was hard in the beginning. I think it is for everybody that doesn't have connection with the military when they, marry. But here at home, at least, we keep work separate from our personal lives. Of course, we talk about how was your day, stuff like that. But work specifically, you try to keep separate. We talk about a few things. I don't even know what my husband does in reality because he can tell
I was
me.
gonna say, I feel like the obsession with like, oh, well, what do you do, right, is a very American thing. And so, whenever I've gone outside of the US and had conversations with people, like, no one ever asked me what I do for a living. It's all about the person, not their career. So does your family back in Brazil, like, do they care? Like, they're like, oh, well, man, this is odd that she's married into the military, or are they just like, whatever, he's
No,
family.
they love him. They don't. I don't know what he does. They don't know what he does, so nobody knows what he does.
Yeah.
But they love him. They don't mind he's in the military because I married the person. Of course, the lifestyle came with it, but we're not married to our jobs. We love what we do, but like I said, we try to keep things separate, keep a good balance. But yeah, we don't judge people for what they do for a living.
Yeah. Are there certain customs or traditions that you guys do in your home to make sure that both of you are represented kind of with your kids, to make sure that they're understanding kind of where both of you have come from?
Yeah, we're about to have our first one.
There we go.
Yeah, but
Have you
I
talked
think
about
over the
that?
years we've been adapting really good. One thing that I really love and that I miss, I grew up really close, all my family, my parents, cousins, uncles. I had a lot of friends coming over every weekend. We had barbecue. Typically my grandparents' house. So we were always very close. And when I moved here, that was a shock for me because here I feel like you have to schedule everything. And back home was more spontaneous. Say, hey, what are you doing? Okay, I'm stopping by. And everybody, I wouldn't say everybody, but most of this kind of interaction and being spontaneous back home. And I feel like here you're more isolated and you have to schedule everything. So that's something that I miss. But I think in terms of culture, we have a lot of things that are similar. I would say it wasn't super hard to adapt, but There are a few things like food and the language. Back in the day when you first got married was a challenge, but we start to learn how to communicate. Sometimes there are like we misunderstand each other, but over the years it's just a lot of patience and work, and just do one day at a time, not try to embrace everything all at once, because I used to do that and that would hurt me.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to lose your sense of identity.
Yeah.
Which is hard enough as a spouse because a lot of times, our job is to be in the support position, right? So, I mean, let alone, yeah, you just don't want to lose your sense of identity.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you mind if we pivot a little bit and talk about PCSing internationally with pets?
Mhm.
Like, what was that experience like, and what's something that stuck with you after that? It's like, gosh, if there was one thing that I could know, if I had to do it again, thank goodness I know this now.
Yeah, when we PCSed with them, we had 2 pets. Our biggest concern was about if they were gonna make it okay during the trip, because it was a very long one, and they had to go on cargo. That's the main thing we were concerned about. Of course, paperwork is always a pain. It's always a headache. Timelines, etc. Because my husband went first and then start having issues back here, and then I was able to join him later on. So I think the most I can say is paperwork. It's a lot of work. It's not a hard process. It's just a lot of work and make things align. But once you get that out of the way, it was okay. Like I said, our biggest concern was, are they going to make it? Because you hear terrible stories out there. So you're really afraid of losing one of them on the way. But then we got there, they were super happy, and it was great. Like it's just us.
What steps did you take to make them more comfortable for the ride?
We got them their crates beforehand so they will get used to the crates. We put blankets and our scents like clothes inside the crates. We start feeding them in there so they will be a little more comfortable. You'll always be concerned, of course, but that helped a lot. They weren't a big fan, but they did okay. But I'll say, just as soon as you know we're gonna PCS overseas and you have pets, get the crates and start a little bit every day to train them to feel comfortable in the crates, because I think that's a big one.
So there's a lot of paperwork needs to be completed. How early did you start before? Was it 90 days out, 6 months out? How early did you start on that paperwork?
You start 6 months out, but then there's one specific one, I can't remember the name, that has to be done within 10 days from you flying. Because then you have to go to the vet fill up a paper, then you have to send the paper. Oh my God, I can't remember, but it has to be done within 10 days. I don't know if that changed. I think it hasn't.
Yeah, it's probably like a medical release form that they're like fit to fly, right? A release of liability for the airline. I know there's a lot of programs out there that specifically have resources for pets. Did you guys use any of those, or just kind of do the research yourself?
No, we did the research ourselves because we didn't know what was actually available out there. I see there are a lot of groups nowadays, very helpful ones that's specific for PCSing with pets. We didn't know about those back when we PCSed with them, but yeah, we did pretty much ourselves everything. We did the research, we talked to their vet, and we went from there. Because you also have to see which vaccines are required on the country you're going to. Microchip, you have to update that as well.
When you guys came back, was it more difficult bringing them back or going there?
So we went with 2 pets and came back with 3.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I think it was a little easier because we had an idea what to do. So it was a little easier to come back. So we did everything faster. The hardest thing was getting them a spot. We took the AMC to fly back, to go and fly back. And then they have, if I'm not mistaken, 10 spots per flight for pets. We had 3, so I had to come back first with 2 of the pets, and then my husband stayed back with the 3rd one for almost a month, I believe, if I remember correctly, to fly the 3rd one.
And did a lot of other military families who are in Bahrain, did they also bring their pets?
They do, but there are a lot of them, unfortunately, that leave their pets behind. That was an issue. It's very sad, but they tried, and even though that flying commercial, it is super expensive. Sometimes they don't have the means, or sometimes maybe it's health related, maybe it's not safe for their pets. So it really depends on each person's situation.
Yeah. So do you feel like programs or communities like Pay It Forward can help, foreign born military spouses kind of get integrated into the local military community a little bit easier?
Yes, 100%. Because when we were in Bahrain, we were trying to find a rental. And, even with one pet is challenging. And every time an agent learned we had three pets, and they would ghost us completely. And then we end up finding one place that accepted us. It was not in a good neighborhood. We didn't have any resources at the time. And pretty much the agent just say, hey, sign this. It was the lease. And back at that time, I wasn't an agent yet. And when I got to the rental, my God, we're going to die. For the moment, I said, okay, I promise I make myself. My family is not going to go through this again. I'm going to be the one that's going to find our next house. And I'm going to help people that are in the same situation. I'm not going to ghost people. I'm not going to be like this, agents that have been treating us since we're in Bahrain, trying to look for a place for us. So that's how I decided to become an agent, because I didn't want other people that, to go through what I've been through. So my license, and then I want to specialize in military because it's our day-to-day life, and I understand how things work and the struggles that come with our lifestyle. And then I came to learn about PCS Pay It Forward, and I 100% believe in the program and the benefits of it for our military families. And I see it every day. It makes a huge difference. And I wish we've known that about the program when we need to move back here, because it was traumatic.
Yeah, first, for anyone who's listening, we believe that our ambassadors and the realtors that we partner with should care about military family and housing even when they don't get a commission check. And so something that a lot of people in our industry don't talk about is how when there is little compensation for an agent, that is why there's little support for military families. So most agents don't get paid when they place a rental, right? And so this is a huge part of military life. Like, some of us are only stationed there for a year or two. Like, the thought of buying a home doesn't make sense. Maybe we have pets that keep us from even being able to be on base housing. So our program is actually the only program nationwide that I'm aware of that offers support with all three, right? We're going to help you guys decide, is it the right to rent for us to rent? Is it right for us to buy? Is it right for us to go into base housing? And it's only through us providing, that support, and our members also choosing our incredible ambassadors to help them purchase and sell homes, that we're possible to offer that support to 100% of military spouses. So Mariana, you've been a huge advocate for our PCS plans, which is basically where our members go in and they give us their information, and then you reach out to them and get here's the school districts, here's the list of homes based on your BAH. Oh, okay, we're not going to buy. Well, then we need to start, saving up for a rental deposit, or we are going to buy. Like, this is what you can expect about the VA home loan. And what has your kind of experience been like helping people who you used to be one of them, right? But now helping people kind of plan their PCS. What do you want people to know about PCSing to Virginia Beach?
I think when they hear PCS plan, they're like, what is it? It's pretty much me learning more about what each family needs, and, say, hey, it makes more sense to do X, Y, and Z, because I think a lot of people don't like talking to agents because they always think agents are going to push buying. It's not the case with the PCS Pay It Forward program. If something doesn't make sense, we're going to tell you that. Like, I don't think you should buy right now. It's never our decision. We're here to give as much information as we possibly can. And the end of the day is each person's decision. We're never going to push anything. We're only going to give out the options, real options, based on, what's available locally. And because we don't know how much they have in their bank account or any, like, it doesn't matter to us. We treat people with respect, regardless of the rank or anything, or how much they have in their account. And we're just trying to learn more about what they need to give them the guidance that could make things a little less stressful.
Yeah. When I looked at our PCS plans we got last year, 88% of our military members said that finding a home was the most stressful part of PCSing. I'm gonna double down on that and say I'm guessing that finding a affordable home that's right for their family was the most stressful part of PCSing. Any place, anyone can find a house like you guys did, but right, is it going to be safe? Is it going to be within a commute? Is it going to allow my pets, right? And that's really what the PCS plan is all about. It's not just about the logistics of moving or understanding the areas. It's about getting you from, plan to keys straight up. Is this going to work is this going to be a affordable right fit for my family? So not just about checking a box, but putting people in the best position to thrive when they get to a new base. So I'm so grateful to have ambassadors like you, Mariana, because I hear a lot. I would say 100% of our ambassadors had the experience that you had somewhere, right? And they realize there's a gap in service here. I want to help fill that gap, and that's what inspired them to not only get their license, but also to join PCS Pay It Forward, and now to help hundreds of members move to your bases every single year. It's such an incredible service. So thank you for giving so openly to our families.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. If you have any questions for Mariana, or if you're heading to the Virginia Beach area, go ahead. I put the PCS plan link to her area below. And I know that she is just never too busy to help. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you.